Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's episode of Poetry Live. Tonight, I am reading Canto 2 of the Faerie Queene. Not all of it, it's rather long, but I'll do enough of it to keep you guys entertained. Because it's a wonderful story and I like telling it. You were stuck, Rabbit. How were you stuck? How are you stuck? Being stuck is no good at all. Hello, Karen. Hello. Come in, guys. Come in. Welcome. Well, we don't want that. We don't want you being stuck. Hello, Scream. Hello, George and Danny. Hello, Roger and Clockwork. Hello, Karen, Black Rabbit and Gina. Hello, Queen. Come in. Come in, guys. Pull up a chair. Tonight will be great. I love reading the Faerie Queene. The Faerie Queene is a very long, epic poem. In fact, although we'll do a little bit of Faerie Queene tonight, but yes, there's Sound Queen. I am sorry for the sound demons before. The sound demons were conquered in the end, and we got sorted. It took some serious smiting, but we took the sound demons down. Merlin had to be consulted. But we're all sorted. We're all good. That's happening. I'm here now. We're going to do some Faerie Queene. As I was saying, hello, Taz. Hello. Come in. I'm a big fan of the Faerie Queene to the point where I am considering that when we finish reading Les Mortes d'Arthur, not the entire poem. Here's the thing, George. I won't do the entire poem tonight. I don't think it's possible to do it all in one night. But hello, Susan, come in, welcome. Hello, Rosella, come in. But when we finish reading Les Mortes d'Arthur, then I might go and read the Faerie Queene as our next project, which will be cool. Very cool. I will. George, I'd say I'm 90% sure now that the Faerie Queene will be the next thing that we read on the show after Les Mortes d'Arthur. We will do it in its entirety. Hello, Karen. Hello, and hello, Frank. Hello, Alan. Come in, guys. Come in. Pull up a chair. Wonderful, George. That makes me happy. That makes me very happy. Pull up a chair, though, guys. Pull up a chair before we get started with tonight's show. I am very, very excited for this. I'm always excited, but I am very excited to be doing this. I love doing the Faerie Queene, and so without further ado, we shall get into tonight's show. Let me just go and pop on my periscopey thingy so I can just see what's happening. Get the periscope thingy sorted, and here we go. Come on. Ladies and wonderful ladies and gentlemen of the court, I will take you back to a time of Elizabethan England, where when women said that they liked a bit of rough, they didn't mean having a bit of a beard. What they really meant was they liked a man who wore a big puffy collar, which should be brought back. I will take you back to a time when stories were almost always poems and novels didn't exist, and where Edmund Spenser set upon writing one of the greatest epic poems the world has ever seen. Certainly, perhaps the most epic poem that Britain has ever seen. It was never completed, in fact. It was written in tribute to that Faerie Queene, that Titania of the realm, Queen Elizabeth I. Scream, I want to see a picture of you in a big puffy collar now. I want to see that. We have told the first tale of this noble quest that the Knight of the Red Cross has embarked upon in his search for that elusive thing, truth. He has come across evil monsters in his search. He has come across evil enchantresses who would tempt him with nightmares and sex. Not necessarily in that order. And for some people that works. But not the Knight of the Red Cross, who is pure and chaste and chivalric. Now, ladies and gents, a knight has arisen. Got to mix the good with the bad, Danny. Got to mix the good with the bad. Now night has arisen, and we find out just what will happen with the Knight of the Red Cross as he continues in his search for truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, allow me to introduce you to Canto 2, Book 1 of the Faerie Queene by Edmund Spenser, one of my favourite poems in the English language. Also, one of the poems that I used to hate most in the English language until I realised that you have to read it aloud. And when you read it aloud, it's so much better. By this the northern waggoner had set his sevenfold team behind the steadfast stars, that was in the ocean waves yet never wet, but firm is fixed and sendeth light from far to all that in the wide deep wandering air. And cheerful Chanticleer, with his note shrill, had warned once that Phoebus's fiery care in haste was climbing up the eastern hill, full envious that night so long his place did fill. When those accursed messengers of hell, that feigning dream, and that fair-forged sprite came to their wicked master, and began telling their bootless pains and ill-succeeding night, who all enraged to see his skilful might deluded so, threatened hellish pain, and sad Proserpine's wrath then to affright. But what he saw, his threatening was but vain. He cast about and searched his deadly books again. Immediately he took that miscreated fair, and that false other sprite on whom he spread a seeming body of the subtle air. Like a young squire in love and lusty head, his wanton days that ever loosely led without regard of arms and dreaded fight, those two he took, and in a secret bed covered with darkness and misdeeming night, them both laid together to joy in vain delight. Saucy. Forthwith he run with a feigned faithful haste unto his guest, who after troubling sights and dreams now began a sound repast, whom suddenly he woke with frayful fight, as one aghast with fiends or damned spirits, unto him calls, Rise, rise, unhappy swain, that here grows old in sleep, while wicked wights have knit themselves in Venus's shameful chain. Come see where your false lady does her honour stain. All in amazement, he suddenly upstarted with sword in his hand, and with an old man went, and soon brought into a secret part, where that false couple were full closely mingled in wanton lust and lewd embracement, which, when he saw, he burnt with a jealous fire. The eye of Region was a rage blinded, and would have slain them in his furious ire. But with difficulty he was restrained. Returning to his bed once more, in great torment and bitter anguish of his guilty sight, he could not rest, but did his stout heart eat, and was his inward gall and deep despite irksome of life, and not too long lingering night. At last fair Hesperus in highest sky had spent his lamp, and brought forth dawning light, and up he rose and clad himself hastily, and then his squire the dwarf brought him his steed, and so away both did fly. Now that the rosy-fingered morning fair, weary of age, Tithon's saffron bed had spread her purple robe through the dewy air. And the high halls of Titan discovered the royal virgin shook off drowsy head, and rising forth out of her baser bower looked for her knight who away had fled, and for her dwarf who was accustomed to wait for each hour. And then she wailed and wept to see that woeful state. After him she rode with so much speed as her slow beast could make, but all in vain, for him so far had borne his light-foot steed, and pricked with wrath and fierce disdain that him to follow was but fruitless pain. Yet she her weary limbs would never rest, but every hill and dale, each wood and plain, did search, sore grieved in her gentle breast. He so ungently left her whom she loved best. But a cunning archmage, when his guests he saw divided into two parts, and Una wandering in woods and forests the end of his drift, he praised his devilish arts, that had so much might over true meaning hearts, yet rests not so, but other means doth make, how he may work until her further pains for her he hated as a hissing snake, and in her many troubles did he most pleasure take. He then thought to himself how to disguise himself, for by his mighty knowledge he could take as many forms and shapes in appearance as ever did Proteus to himself could make. Sometimes a fowl, sometimes a fish in a lake, now like a fox, now like a dragon fierce. That of himself he oft for fear would quake, and oft would fly away. Oh, who might tell the hidden power of herbs, the might of magic spell? But now seemed best the person to put on of that good knight his late beguiled guest in mighty arms. He was clad anon, and silver shield upon his coward breast, a bloody cross, and on his craven crest a bunch of hairs discoloured diversely. Full jolly knight he seemed, and well addressed, and when he sate upon his courser free, St. George himself would have deemed him to be. But he, the knight whose likeness he did bear, the true St. George, had wandered far away, still flying from his thoughts in jealous fear. Will was his guide, and grief led him astray. At last he had chanced to meet upon the way a faithless Saracen, all armed completely, in whose great shield was written with gay letters, Sans Foy. For large of limb, and at every point he was, and cared not for God or man at all. He had a fair companion, a goodly lady who was clad in scarlet red, decorated with gold and pearls of rich assay, and like a Persian mitre on her head she wore with crowns and brooches garnished, the which her lavish lovers to her had given. Her unruly palfrey was all overspread with tinsel trappings woven like a wave, whose bridle was rung with golden bells and handsome studs. It was with fair divergence and courting dalliance that she entertained her lover all the way. But when she saw this knight and his spear advance, she soon left off her mirth and wanton play, and bade her knight to address him to the fray. His foe was nigh at hand, he pricked with pride, and hoped to win his lady's heart that day. Magic, Frank, it's always magic. Forth he sped fast adown his courser's side, the red blood trickling stained the way as he did ride. The knight of the red cross with him did he spy, spurring so hot and rage with disputous, gain to fairly lower his spear towards him, and riding soon they met, both fierce and furious. They dazed with their forces hideous, and their steeds did stagger and stunned and stand, and also themselves too rudely violent, stunned with the stroke of their own hand, and so did recoil back, and each to yield to each other land. As when two rams should stare with ambitious pride, fight for the rule of the rich fleeced flock, their horned front so fierce on either side did meet, that with the terror of the shock astonished both to stand stenceless as a block, forgetful of the hanging victory, and so stood those twain unmoved as a rock, both staring fierce and holding idly the broken reliquaries of their former cruelty. And thank you, Lars, by the way. I'm glad that you're willing to offer such a kind thing. Alas, unicorns don't really do it for me. But if I was a unicorn chasing man, that would work. The Saracen was sore daunted with the buff, snatched his sword and fiercely cut him to flies. Who well it wards, and quitteth cuff with cuff, for others' equal power is envied, and through their iron sides and cruel looks does seek to pierce, and repining courage yields no foot to foe the flashing fire shields, and from a forge out of the burning shields and streams of purple blood new dyes the verdant fields. Curse on that cross, said the Saracen, that keeps thy body from a better death. Death long do I think had been, had not the charm from you prevented it. But yet I warn you now, securely sit and hide your head. And the war with vigour he thrent and smit upon his crest such a large share that it hewed out from the rest, and glancing down from his shield, from blame him fairly blessed. Who thereat wondrous wrath the sleeping spark of native virtue could revive, and at the haughty helmet taking aim, so mightily the stroke that it did the steel to rive, and cleft his head, he tumbling down alive, with bloody mouth his mother earth did kiss, greeting his grave, his grudging ghost did strive with the fragile flesh. At last it flitted is whither the soul do fly of men that live amiss. The lady, when she saw her champion fall, like the ruins of a broken tower, stood not to wail his woeful funeral, but from him fled away with all her power, and who after her as hastily began to scurry, bidding the dwarf with him to bring away the Saracen's shield, sign of the conqueror. Her soon he overtook and bade to stay, for the present course was none for her to dread or dismay. And there, ladies and gents, we will end tonight's tale with the evil Archmage who had caught the Knight of the Red Cross in a terrible dream of nightmares, who had lured him into taking place in debauched sexual acts with his companion woman. When the knight woke and fled with his squire the dwarf, and the woman went and woke then and fled as well, then the Archmage set off after them, and not coming across either, instead came across a Saracen, who he went and fought against in a bloody battle, eventually cutting that Saracen down to flies. The pieces were so small. because that's how they told a tale back then. I quite like that. That's it. Take to wipe what, Frank? How long does it take to wipe what? My glasses or my hair? What does it take to wipe? But, ladies and gents, I've been considering that my hair, it usually dries on the way into work, Frank. It probably spends about 10 minutes towel drying it to get it reasonable, and then probably another hour to dry. So probably about an hour in all to dry the hair, all in. It's an hour. It's an hour. It's an hour. But yes, so I've been thinking perhaps of doing Les Morts d'Arthur for the next. I did also pick up some old English romances, some old tales of knights and daring do from the bookshops in York the other day, and I might do those as well at some point. There's the tale of Havelock the Dane there, Gregory of Monmouth, all that good stuff, the great epic tales that I would like to maybe one day. Yes! The drinking game for Les Morts d'Arthur. We came up, for those of you who weren't there for it, we came up with a drinking game for Les Morts d'Arthur, where we can drink every time that, someone has smited. Take 2 drinks when we lop off helms. Take a drink every time Sir Tristram falls in love with the wrong woman. Take a drink every time someone is buffeted. Or 2 drinks when they come together like thunder. We have a fine drinking game in the workings for Les Morts d'Arthur, ladies and gents, which, to celebrate a million hearts, and actually I think we may have just passed a million hearts. Now I'm not sure, I can't tell. I think, have we done it? Yes, we may have passed it. I think we have now passed a million hearts. As celebration, no, I'm not going out after Frank, I'm done for the night. But in celebration of all of this, ladies and gents, in celebration of having reached a million hearts, we will be putting up the Les Morts d'Arthur drinking game on Medium, soon to come, which will be fun. Almost, I'm seeing it as, it looks to me like it is actually there. Well, Chris, here's the thing. I think it's basically groupie syndrome. Tristan wants to be this wonderful, perfect knight. And he is a very noble, very fierce knight. But women have a habit of throwing themselves at him. And with all these women who are throwing themselves at him, Chris, it must be tough for him. It must be tough for a knight such as the noble Sir Tristram when women are throwing themselves at him right, left and centre, And of course he's out and about, and I won't make excuses for him, but the man does do a fair bit of travelling, guys. So I don't know, maybe we could forgive Tristram for his trespasses. Maybe it must be blinding to him. He has gotten better at it, Chris. He has gotten better. He used to be a bit of a love rat, did Tristram. He used to be famous for being such a love rat. He was in a lot of trouble over it. He's improved. He's gotten much better, guys. Much better. Right? Have we done it? I think we've done it, guys. Guys, I think we've done it. I think we've done 1 million, guys. Here we go. Get your photos. Dancing Simon, dancing Simon, dancing Simon, dancing Simon, dancing Simon. The 1 million dance. Thank you. No cutting of hair, but I will put up the Les Morts d'Arthur drinking game. Wow. How did... Guys, thank you. thank you so much, guys, for bringing us to this point. Thank you so very, very much for bringing us to 1 million. Truly, it is an astounding idea, Gina. The Mort d'Arthur drinking game, Gina, is first class. You did a good one on that. Thank you, Lars. But you guys deserve it as well, because I've said that I can never say this enough. I can never say thank you, Chris. But guys, genuinely, if you guys didn't come here to do the show, if you guys didn't come here to watch the show, to give hearts for the show, Lars, I would never block you. I love you far too much. Catch and 1 million in a week. It's a good week, but you guys make it, guys. You guys scream, I'm smiling as well. Thank you. You should. I'm glad that you can enjoy it as well. You guys did this. Well, you pushed me to keep going. Without you, and some of you, remind that some of you have been here for well over sort of 250 shows. Some of you guys have been here pretty much from the start. To get to 1 million hearts, to get this far, to have gone from 1 to 1 million, because of you, that means an awful lot to me. That means a heck of a lot, that you guys should show that much love. So thank you. 1 million hearts of thank you. Thank you so much. We don't even get that many haters, do we, Scream? We used to get a couple come through, but they've tailed off, and good riddance to them. But thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for all that you've done tonight. By the way, I'm noticing that we've got like 90 people watching live at the moment. So hello, everybody watching live right now. Hello, I'm Simon. I read poetry and old King Arthur tales every night on Periscope. So if you are watching on Facebook or through the Twitter app or something like that like now, guys, go and download Periscope and follow me at SimonTellsTales, or follow on Twitter, or follow on Facebook, or follow wherever you feel like following, for some tremendous stories of smiting, of poetry, of men running around on horseback, saving knights, smiting evil knights, lopping off heads when heads need lopping off, and all that good stuff. Thank you, guys. Thank you. It's been a tremendous, incredible journey. Thank you, Lars. Thank you. That means a lot. By the way, guys, you'll have seen, I'm not sure how many of you will have seen it. I know Danny's seen the trailers coming out. Sacha Baron Cohen's Grimsby film is coming out this month. So I'm going to be pushing my Grimsby stuff quite heavily, I think, over the next few weeks. I'm really looking forward to doing some more reading of that on Thursday. Can't wait for Thursday now to do some more of that. But yes, Sacha Baron Cohen is doing his film making fun of Grimsby, which he'll never do by my books. So it's wonderful to be with you guys celebrating. And this is a new record, guys. I'm going to screenshot this one. I just screenshotted that. Absolutely, take on Grimsby. That's it. This is a record, by the way, guys. This is a new record for people watching the show. Hello, everybody watching the show. I hope you've been enjoying the show. Welcome. Thank you for coming in. Actually, Lars, we should go and do some more poems. We should go and do some. I need to go and do some more of my own poems on the show. I need to do that. Actually, one of the things that I was really looking forward to about my holiday in April is I'm going to write a lot of poetry while I'm there. Just one of my, all my favourite. I mean, just one of mine, all my favourite. Shall we speak? Friends, Roman countrymen, lend me your ears. I mean, clearly something magic. Can I say? I tell you what. Do you know what? There is a poem that I sang once, Frank. There is a poem that I did sing once on the show, and I was mortified because after singing this poem, we sang it for Burns Night, and it didn't save to catch. I sang a poem for Burns Night, and it didn't save for catch. So I think what I will do, ladies and gents, I will round off tonight as a massive thank you to you all for all your hard work, for coming here, for coming and spending so much time with me, for the million hearts, for all the support, for all the encouragement, for all the sharing and the comments, for all the likes. Ladies and gents, I will sing you a poem. Here we go. This, ladies and gents, is what we sang for Burns Night. Should all the acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should all the acquaintance be forgot and auld lang syne? For auld lang syne, my dear, for auld lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet, for auld lang syne. And surely you'll be your pint stop, and surely I'll be mine, and we'll take a cup of kindness yet, for auld lang syne, for auld lang syne, for auld lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet, for auld lang syne. We twae hae run about the braes and poured the gowans fine, but we've never wandered merrier fit since auld lang syne. We twae hae paled in the burn frae morning sun till dine, but seas between us braid hae rod since auld lang syne. And there's a hand might trust thee fair, and gives a hand o' thine, and we'll take a right guide, will thee what, for auld lang syne. For auld lang syne, my dear, for auld lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet, for auld lang syne. There you go, ladies and gents. That was meant to be on Catch so long ago. No, Lars, I know I cannot sing. Not in the slightest, but I can't sing. Thank you, Queene. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for all your lovely comments. I cannot think of a better poem to say thank you for all the wonderful kindness and friendship that you guys have offered to me since we started doing this show. That kindness and that friendship means the world to me. Thank you so much, ladies and gents. Thank you. Thank you. Happy New February. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much, ladies and gents. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for the million hearts. I don't take any of it for granted. Thank you, Lars. Thank you. Thank you. It is tough. It is tough to sing when you can't sing. But you guys are worth it. You guys are worth it. You guys mean a lot to me. And hopefully that comes through in that. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. Thank you for tonight. Thank you for the past. I think I worked it out as being 250 nights. Here's to another million hearts more, ladies and gents. Thank you. I'll see you all again tomorrow night. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.